We've had an incredible season of Culture and Cocktails this year. If this is your first one, welcome. We're thrilled you're here. And if you've attended other Culture and Cocktails events this year, we're happy to see you again. You know, Culture and Cocktails isn't the only thing that the Cultural Council does. It happens to be a very social and visible program, but it isn't the only thing that we do. Our mission is to champion, engage, and grow the arts in Palm Beach County. We don't make widgets. So it's sometimes difficult to see our work in the community. Most of our work is behind the scenes, in direct consultation with artists and arts administrators, in creating and implementing meaningful marketing and cultural tourism grants to the sector, in providing professional development opportunities for artists and arts administrators, in creating visibility and connection for artists in our gallery spaces in Lake Worth, and performance opportunities for musicians, in connecting with teachers, cultural organizations, artists, and school children in arts education and enrichment programs, in advocating for strong cultural policy and local, regional, and state funding, and in engaging residents and visitors in world-class cultural institutions throughout Palm Beach County. This is our mission, this is our passion, and this is our focus. Our collective antennae are always up, finding ways to fulfill the needs of the cultural sector and enhance the vitality of our communities. We cannot do this work alone. We need you. We need your support. Your membership to the Cultural Council is important. So too are direct contributions to the council that allow us to further our work throughout the county. Our focus is on the health and vibrancy of the entire arts and cultural sector. All of us in the room believe that. Your continued support is important in making that a reality. We've been through a transition at the Cultural Council recently that has spanned 2 fiscal years. From the end of Rena Blade's phenomenal leadership to the search process, and now, as I am getting my sea legs, it's been a long path, and we find ourselves in need of some additional support. But I'm here to tell you that the future is very bright for the sector and for the council. We are embarking on a rebranding effort to crystallize our messages and communicate the value and impact of our work more directly. We are creating alignment in our programs and initiatives to increase the level of service and support that we provide to the cultural organizations and professional artists of Palm Beach County. We are planning programs and initiatives that celebrate innovation and champion risk and growth and creativity in Palm Beach County for the benefit of our residents, as well as the millions of tourists who flock to Florida's cultural capital. To achieve these ambitious but attainable goals, the Cultural Council is also looking at its operations, finding ways to streamline our work, to operate more efficiently and effectively, and demonstrate excellence in all that we do. We invite you to join us on this exciting new journey. Your contribution, your membership, attendance, and participation in our events is truly appreciated and needed now more than ever. Thank you. A few housekeeping notes and reminders for you. Thanks for that applause, I appreciate that. If you have not been to Lake Worth yet this spring to see Modern Love, there's a few more weeks before we change exhibitions again. It's a wonderful exhibition. It's up through mid-May. Come and check it out. Let's see, Swank Table Farm. Our event is April 28th. I think there's still tickets available, right, Debbie? You all know Debbie and Mary. See them and join us. Mary's at the back. We'd love to have you join us. It's going to be a wonderful farm-to-table dining experience. Okay. You've had your cocktail. Yeah, see, now you guys are already ready to go. Okay, I'm going to introduce Rich and Jill Schweitzer, the co-hosts of the Morning Lounge on Legends 100.3 FM daily from 6 to 10 a.m. Jill and Rich have both had sterling musical careers. Jill has headlined at Birdland in New York City, locally at the Colony's Royal Room, and with the Palm Beach Pops, and has shared the stage with Ann Hampton-Callaway, John Pizzarelli, and Mary Wilson of the Supremes, to name a few. She's also recorded with the Four Freshmen and Nicholas King. She's released several CDs, including by special request, and is the author of The Diva Next Door, How to Be a Singular Star Wherever You Are. Rich is a gifted pianist, composer who's been entertaining audiences in South Florida for the past 32 years. His 4 CDs of melodic piano instrumentals have made a significant mark musically, beginning with his debut release, Quiet Storm. He's also an honorary board member of the Society for the Preservation of the Great American Songbook. So as Jill and Rich are coming to the stage, I do want to just make a special shout out to television actress Michelle Lee, who's here tonight. We love you. There's always surprises at Culture and Cocktails. Ladies and gentlemen, Jill and Rich Schweitzer.
Good evening.
Uh-huh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're thrilled to be here, and we are honored to be in this position to introduce and interview this legend. Please welcome to the stage, Dick Robinson. I'm gonna stand.
Yasek, get it right.
Yeah. Dick Robinson.
Hi.
Hi. You know, it's kind of a full circle moment here because almost 20 years ago, we met you right here at the Colony Hotel. And yeah, and the trajectory of our careers is directly related to this man, Dick Robinson. That is the truth. And we're not the only ones, and that's what we want to get into. 60 years of broadcasting, Dick. 60 years.
61.
61. Who's counting? 61 years. And I think everyone is curious to know, why did you want to get into radio? What was it like in the early days? Why?
Why?
Yes, the why.
You know, first of all, I never do this end. I don't know how I got into this. Somebody, Michelle Lee and everybody else has something to do with this. And I never do this end because I think other people have a lot more. I've been playing records since I was 5 years old. I mean, what else can you say? You know, at 5, I was putting on those 78s and winding up the Victrola and sipping my cola. We have a cola?
You have a cola, Dickie. Don't you worry about a thing.
This is terrible stuff. But when I say this, I really mean it. This is what I drink, and when I wind up my Victrola at night, this is what I do. But the reason, seriously, are you really serious?
I'm serious now.
Most of the time, we had a party last night.
I know. This isn't party time. We really want to know.
Every night.
61 years. Why? Yeah, I mean, I know that you started. You loved acting. You loved the theater. You loved music, and I know that was the start. But
no, I was just blessed. I was just blessed by a higher power, God, whatever you want to say, and. Early on, that's all you can say, is that at an early age, I just gravitated to winding up that Victrola and playing those 78 RPMs and listening to radio. I had a few buddies in Boston that were great friends. We played baseball, and like most people, and basketball and stuff like that. But it was it was a theater of the mind. When you listen to, I know a lot of people aren't this old. I'm the oldest person here. And I certainly look at too. Don't be a white guy. But when you listen to radio back in those days, whether it was Fibber McGee and Molly or whether it was, but the great one was Superman, because you didn't have to look and see, Clark Kent stripping and whatever he was doing and then changing into his costume, throwing Lois Lane over his neck. And you can imagine that. The imagination was so much better. You could never duplicate that. It was in your mind.
Yeah, I love the story you've told us many times of you with Sally, your beautiful Saint Sally, as he calls his wife, and the story of you guys going to the sock hops back in the day.
Yeah, well, back in those days, they're what they called record hops, you know, and we played, this goes a little further. You get in a record hop mood?
The man needs a soundtrack everywhere he goes. His life is.
I think everybody should have a theme song.
No.
Oh, no.
Richie and Jill do mornings, and they're the ones that should be really. We'll interview them next time. But it's been, to me, I think it was one of the only things I could do was broadcasting that I loved. I was in theater for a while, 14, 15 years old, playing summer stock, and we did, a thing called Noel Coward. He wouldn't do kiddies' plays. In Boston, they would do, this Dr. Otto Ashman came into my life, and he would rehearse until 3 o'clock in the morning. And the parents eyed him askance, but he was the real deal. And he taught us to do Noel Coward. I mean, Noel Coward, we were doing, you want to hear a couple of lines?
Sure.
Sure.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that.
Not Joe Biden now, but the lines were.
Too soon, Dick. Too soon.
We are Regency rakes, and each of us take. This is a 14-year-old. I can't remember what happened yesterday, especially after last night. but this was at 14 years old. The play was Conversation Piece by Noel Coward, one of my heroes. And the theme was, we're Regency rakes, and each of us takes a personal pride in the thickness of hide, which prevents us from seeing how vulgar we're being without making us wince. Every orgy, I'll be finished in a minute. Every orgy without Georgie into this or that bordel, whom we know there, why we go there, but we're far too drunk to tell. The overture coast, unfunny and gross. We don't lose a fraction of self-satisfaction. Complacency never forsakes. Roystering Regency rake. That's it.
Wow.
But we didn't know what the overture coast at the age of 14 was like. That a drink or another Pepsi or.
But this explains how you are such a wordsmith. You really are. I mean, I think that's one of the critical elements of being a disc jockey and a very
I was
successful.
ever a disc jockey.
What were you?
Never. I was an airhead or
an honor host.
The term disc jockey, I think, is. I just don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like that. Air personality or airhead or.
Okay, airhead. But truly, you are a wordsmith, and that was kind of the way it was back.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when I grew up, I mean, don't forget, Jacek wasn't born yet. He was over with me the other day watching real people do a real job. The United States Navy SEALs. We were together. That's what it's all about. Me playing records. I mean, what else can you do? Somebody sitting around the pool. They say, "What does your son do, Mrs. Robinson?" They said, "Oh, Mrs. Marks, what does your baby do?" "Oh, he's a nuclear physicist." And Mr. What does your child do? "He's a doctor, a surgeon." "Miss Robinson, what does your son do?" "He plays records."
You know what? You entertain people, and you bring joy to people.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm blessed to find you. I mean, I knew you 25, 30 years ago when you were 3 or 4 years old. And then to get you on the radio when I made that first call.
Dickie, this is about you tonight.
Oh,
I
no.
know you always want to make
Well,
everybody the
it
rock
is.
star.
I did have
but
a good idea.
You're the rock star tonight. You are the rock star. And I'm
Excellent.
gonna pass it to Richie. He's got a question for you.
Richie,
How are you? Rich Schweitzer from Legends Radio. How are you?
This guy, seriously, wait a minute, never spoke.
No.
He was a genius. When
There's
it
a reason
came-
for that.
General, this is true. You know what I'm telling you.
All right.
He never, just say for a minute,
Okay.
he never spoke. He played every, and John Rubino, He played every instrument in the world, every instrument.
Well,
and she sang up a storm.
Well, let me-
Wonderful. And what was the question?
I got a question. Oh, no, let's talk more about me. No, we've been in the Legends Loft. Actually, I think I've been there maybe once. You allowed me in the Legends Loft. We've seen the walls of fame that you have up there, all these people that you have met and interviewed in this business. So come on, share a couple highlights of those famous.
Share.
A couple.
Yeah.
Share. Yeah.
How about share?
Okay. Let's
Share.
start there.
They're all.
start
See
there.
the wordsmith?
I never did.
What a segue.
Bam.
Oh,
Oh, there she is.
Angela, are you putting those up there? Angela Manfredi, everybody. The head of our, was the head. But Cher, what a great lady. Sonny, her husband, was a record promo guy who I knew for a while, and he was pretty sharp. But they worked for Atlantic Records, and Atlantic Records was owned by Ahmad Erdogan and Jerry Wexler, and they did all the Ray Charles stuff. You'll see if you watch the movie Ray Charles, you'll see Ahmad Erdogan. And also you could play like Basie, he could really be with. And then they got Sonny and Cher, first record. I Got You, Babe. So here's Sonny. And so they said, come on down, because we were a breakout station. They had to play it on our station, and of all places, New England, before it was played in New York, before it was played in Los Angeles, Chicago. It had to be played by us because we were a test market. So we were pretty important, I guess, in a sad way. But so we go down, and Sonny said, "Come on down, Dick. Well, Cher I knew was a backup singer, like the backup singers, boop boop boop." And she was not there when I got to Atlantic Records in New York, and I had a guy with a Brownie Hawkeye camera back in those days with me, a buddy of mine. And so I talked with Sonny for a while. I said, Sonny, God bless you, but I'm not here really for you. You know what I mean? And Ahmad Erdogan like that, and good friend of Dr. Oz, too, gave him a lot of money and helped him move his career to television instead of giving people new hearts. But he was a wonderful guy. And they said, we'll get you a limo. I said, oh, my God, Ahmad, you get you a limo, and we'll get you new flash bulbs. Oh, man, we're in high cotton here. So we went over to this place called Giovanni's Beauty Salon. Now, again, I don't remember a week ago anything, a day ago, 2 days ago. But Giovanni's Beauty Salon was the joint. And it was on the second floor, Dom. The second floor in New York, one of those, places you go in. And so we went in, and there she is. And we had known her as a backup singer, and she was terrific. Hey, Dickie, how are you? I said, are you kidding me? We're going to do this here? And he said, anywhere you want, anywhere you want. So I said, well, she's getting her first pedicure. When did you have your first pedicure? Oh. Did you ever have a pedicure? So here she is.
I was 13, if anybody
15?
wants to know, yeah.
You
13.
You need another one. But Cher was the real deal, and she had a hell of a voice, and she was really a spark, And Sonny was a nice guy, but he was a bore, he really was. Yeah, I had a lot of, but Cher was the one that was cutting edge, and she was with it, and that began the interview. And somehow I said to her, because I didn't do interviews, I did chats, and chats were more fun. Like talk to Michelle Lee, you say, hey, and you talk about couple, and we find out it's not ex-husbands with Michelle. It's not ex-husband, it's former husbands. Yeah. And the guy she's sitting, this guy here, if I were going to have a daughter of mine marry someone, it would be Stanley. Stanley, plastic surgeon, could he do a job on me, right? Where are
So,
we?
Dick,
Yeah.
we've talked about some of the wonderful people, and yes, but all your daughters are married, so we can move on. We're good. We're good with that area.
There's my daughter here.
Yes,
Stand up
Missy,
for a minute,
the
okay?
darling Missy
One of them,
Robinson.
Missy.
Yeah.
Right.
Missy. There's another one, and there's another
Love her.
son, but Missy is.
Love them all.
They're all.
So some of the other standouts, because you truly, when we go to the Legends Loft, it's not a wall of fame, it's walls of fame. Everywhere you walk, it's like Celine Dion, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, anybody in the music business you have interviewed. Who are some other standouts?
Well, I mean, the kids, my kids put them up on the wall. We have like this Legends Loft. We have about 10,000 square
I'm looking
feet.
at the Rolling Stones. You want to hit that?
Oh, Rolling Stone, yeah. That girl was from the Hartford Courant. That was a newspaper in Hartford. That was the first day. And what they did was they were practicing in a place called Brookfield. See how I can recall?
I know.
I mean, shit that means nothing. But here it is. Here it is. We're in Brookfield, Massachusetts, and they're on their way to the Ed Sullivan Show. And because we are what we are, the station, and because we always had a lot of friends and fun, they stopped by. Now, back in the old days, they didn't have stretch limos. They had regular limos. These guys get out of the car. We could not tell anybody in Connecticut or Massachusetts or anywhere our signal was going. Our signal went from New York to Worcester, Massachusetts, to all of a big signal of AM and FM back, mostly AM in those days, if you remember that. Remember AM? God almighty. And so these guys get out, and I'd already been with the Beatles for a year. This is 1965 now. These guys get out of these 3 limos. And they get out, and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and you'll notice in the picture, that guy with the white shirt, he OD'd at the age of, he's one of the 27. Great guy, Brian Jones. And he was there, and Charlie Watts, and they got out, and they jumped on the trunk, jumped on the roof, jumped on the, like you would do. Jumped on the hood of the 3 limos and wrecked them. Now I said, oh, geez, there's going to be a lot of laughs. So they come in the front door of the station. Hey, Dickie, how you doing, baby? And we got him into the studio, and on we go, live with Mick Jagger. God bless you, Mick. He's getting better. He's got a call. Is Nancy Ellison here today? Nancy, we just did a great, if you know Nancy, she did some great photos, and she's going to be coming to town at Tagliatella Galleries with, if you're into Mick Jagger, she has some great, she used to do the covers of magazines. But anyway, so we started, and they all start at once. All started talking at once. Hey, Mick, how are you? You know, wow, everybody was talking. Hold on. And they're really on something. I don't know what exactly it was. I'm still drinking my stupid
Drinking Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, you know, and just going, what the hell are we going to do now? And you know, Keith, they're all great guys, but they're it's like, well, you really got to calm down. We really have to calm down because, you know what I mean? I mean, Mick, you know what I mean? You know, this is, you know what I can tell you? What can I say? You've got to just one at a time, okay? Mick, Keith. And then from there it went great. We became, you know, then we did the show in front of, I don't know how many thousands of people for the first time. And that's part of where I lost my hearing.
That's your charm. The hearing would go with the rock stars, but that's
They're
part
great.
of that's your charm, Dick.
No
that's
charm.
your charm of why your career has been so hugely successful.
I'm just-
and go ahead, give
just
your
blessed.
definition of success.
Blessed. Health. That's
There you
success.
go. I'll drink to that.
Health. God bless everybody I know here, and the ones I don't. I'm sorry. I'm really. We'll get to know each other, but.
So you owned radio stations. You were an on-air personality.
Yeah.
And then 55 years ago, you decided to start Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Yes.
You weren't successful enough. You had to make us all look like underachievers. Why Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
Well, you're a graduate, and so is everybody on the radio station. But the thing is that back in those days, this is 1964, and we found that before, at the other stations that I was at, trying to hire people, we would pay $48.50 a week at all the records you could steal. Now, the guys that got out of college, they'd be coming in, and they knew theory. I'm a slob, too. They knew theory, but they didn't know analog editing and all the stuff. At that time, there was no digital. And they really didn't know what they were doing. And they come in, I said, well, what do you expect to make on a 7 to midnight show? Oh, we were told to ask for $125. I said, no, really? Huh? Who told you that? Oh, Professor Wittich. I said, good. Has he ever been in broadcasting? No. I said, well, when you're in broadcasting, you don't really, it's a terrible pay at the beginning. But if you love it, you'll live, eat, sleep, and drink it like I did, and now I'm making $68. See? That's a true story. And then the other place was a correspondence course. It was like learning brain surgery by mail. It was just awful. People would come in and they'd say, what's that? Oh, look at that. It's a turntable. But it was awful.
So you saw a need. You saw a need.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw something that was going to help. Because a lot of kids, you don't want to spend $250,000 today to get into broadcasting. Some people major in other things and then they take a course. Proprietary education is coming back now. Not just, to be a plumber. Everybody doesn't want to say, what do you do? I'm 1800 literature expert. That guy says, I'm a plumber. Everybody, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. But a plumber, if that's what you like to do and you love it, do it. Whatever you want to do is doing it. But as far as taking another 4 years to learn how to be on, today it's media. And media is your cell phone, which somebody stole from me today. But everything is there. And now coding and everything like that. The world is there. If you want to do a podcast, anything is there. It has changed. Back in the old days, it was strictly AM radio. Even FM had not come in yet. And it was just a very singular sensation. Because when you got in your car, you got a heater, and you had a little radio, tin pot radio, and that was it. It was great. A lot of fun.
Was there anything like that happening at the time?
What? School?
A school like that would actually teach practical information of how to do that?
No, these were all the people that were with me, sportscasters, newscasters, and each one would be teaching their specialty. And this is what we wanted to do. And production people, television was coming in. And instead of, I must tell you, I flash back my first television class at a major university in Boston was using a Wheaties box. There's no kidding, not a real television camera, but a Wheaties box. They would say, dolly in. And we would take the Wheaties box and we'd go in and then come back out and do the wide shot. And we'd laugh a lot because the guy was older like me. He was some guy who, never been in the field before, and it was a lot of laughs. But it was learning by doing, really nothing like doing it. When you got behind the set, or even Rob Russell recently graduated, and he knows everything, and he knows how to, But when it gets into digital, today, if you know how to digital edit, and you can shoot a camera, like our buddy up here is shooting today. Hi, how are you? I've still got the face for radio. Don't go in too close. But if you can run a camera, the more things you can do in media, the more things you could do the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
Because you may be called on. If you can write copy, write a 60-second commercial, something like that. And a lot of people didn't like copywriting. But if you're sitting there in the morning doing 6 to 10, and then you get off and say, hey, write a commercial for my clothing store. Is my clothing guy here?
Giovanni.
Yes, yes.
Giovanni is here?
Giovanni Marquez.
Giovanni was so. G, where are you, G?
G.
G, where are you? I don't. Stand up, will you, for crying out loud? Giovanni
Oh, he's so sweet.
and his lovely wife, Gail. Think your wife.
Great.
They were so nice in giving and donating to our non-for-profit.
Yeah, we're
The-
getting
the
there.
fellow
We're
you
getting
got-
there.
getting
Wait,
there?
we got to go chronologically in your
I'm
career
sorry.
because that's the PowerPoint presentation, Dickie. Don't skip ahead. Richie, go.
All right, listen to this. You've got a show that you've been doing for 20 years called American Standards by the Sea.
Yes.
Right? That's the syndicated show. 20 years. You're about to do, it's coming up on your 1,000th show.
1,000.
1,000 shows.
Yeah, but
Congratulations.
that's,
And a lot of those you broadcasted from the yacht, the airwaves. Tell us a little bit about how those days.
Well, my kids were always great to me because I never did anything but I never played golf that much except when I had that Dick Robinson golf thing raised a lot of money for Hanley back in those days. And I was a charity addict too, a charity addict at doing President of Heart and everything else. But the thing with the boat, we did the show from a yacht for 22 years, Donald. I mean, nutty or what? But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And my kids said, you ought to do something, Dad, other than working. I mean, they don't understand that this is not work. This is like play to me. And I've been playing since I was 5 years old with records and 45s and 78s.
What is it you say that I love?
What?
Do what you love.
Oh, you never work a day in your life.
Work a day in your life.
It's true. There's so many people that are miserable. Where am I getting off? So many people that come in that are miserable about what they do for a living. And no matter what it is that you love, if you love to play and you love to, now you can speak too. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But he plays saxophone like Stan Getz. I mean, he blows trumpet like Chris Bodie. And I mean, he just, if you can do that and he loves it, and you.
Oh, no. It's about you tonight. He can't stand it.
It's very
He's
difficult.
so used to making everybody else feel like a rock star. Tonight, Dick is the rock
That's
star.
right.
Dick is the rock star. That's that.
I certainly look like
All right. So 10 years ago, you co-founded the nonprofit Society for the Preservation of the Great American Songbook with your dear friend, Vic Damone.
Yeah.
You wanted, yes, to
Great
preserve
guy.
this music. You wanted to further your efforts to preserve this music. Tell us about how the friendship and how important this music is to you.
Well, the friendship began years ago when I was, doing rock radio back in popular music back in the 50s and 60s and all that stuff. Then I got to be 75 and I changed my direction into the Great American Songbook. Because most agencies in New York that we called on, Chicago, LA, you go into the agencies, and most of the products, they wanted to appeal to 18 to 34, 18 to 49. The most, you talk about people over 50, don't want to know it. And they were young buyers, young girls, young guys, and they'd think that every person that looked like me, probably drove a 57 Chevy and, was at home getting hooked up at night to some.
Too much information, Dickie.
No, but it's true. So
TMI.
I'd be in there having fun with these guys and girls, the young people that bought millions of dollars from Ogilvy and Mather, from J. Walter Thompson, and getting the advertising. And they would think that, and I'd take them out to clubs and see Mel Torme. And they would get it. And we only care about results. That's the thing that we care about. It doesn't matter. We're not there to get the 18 to 24 or 18 to 34. There was a void for people over 50. And, you know, there's a lot of great people over 50.
Well, you saw that early on.
That weren't getting, except for this program. We were on 100 stations, and now they would play that music for 2 hours a week on all these stations across the United States. And people would really love the music. And no, coming from a yacht or coming from a men's room, it doesn't make any difference. It was the music of the Great American Songbook. And there was nothing like it. You just, I mean, this is part of our American culture. It really is. We export. When I go to Paris once in a while, every 60 years, you go over there, you don't hear Maurice Chevalier. You hear Sinatra, Bublé, people like that. And that's our export. And the people love it. And when you talk to my buddies like Vic was a wonderful, wonderful, I mean, he had pipes, you know, that were just, and Frank used to always say, Mr. Sinatra to you. He would say, hey, Dickie, Frankie's got the best pipes. I said, yeah, what are you going to do, argue with Frank? No, Frank, you know, I know you have, no. But he does. He just was so warm and so wonderful. And everybody, Tony Bennett. I mean, one thing after the other. This was the music of the Gershwins. The Gershwins, George and Ira Gershwin.
Yeah.
Cole Porter.
Yeah.
Harold Arlen. Sammy Kahn. I mean, one after the other. This is the Great American Songbook. We're not going to let it die. That was the whole thing. And you go to most cities, and you can't find any radio stations that are in their right mind, that are, or even people that are in their right mind or not in their right mind. You can't find them. But through connectivity today, because you got those little Alexa, hey Alexa, legendsradio.com. And anywhere in the world now, you can hear our radio station.
Yeah.
So we don't need as many as 100 affiliates that we had. And this little Legends thing is, I mean, you can't believe the letters, the call, the 800 numbers, hundreds of them. But people, Helen and I, Lady Helen is our music director emeritus. Fading out now for you.
Right.
We just went to visit a girl. What's the name of that? Don't say the name of the nursing home. But here's a woman, used to work for Frank Sinatra and as a dancer, and a hot ticket. She's 100. We went to her 100th birthday party in her room with her son at this. I mean, this is the music that they love, and they weren't getting it. And what are you going to do? Pay radio? I mean, I never grew up that way.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up that way.
Well, the society that this
Yes.
nonprofit, your whole mission is to keep the music alive, and part of that program is the Young Artist Mentorship Program, which Richie
Yes.
and I are so proud to be a part of.
Well, they are mentors of the Young Artist Award recipients. Each year, we choose one, and from Christine Zadig.
That was the very
All
first.
this recall.
Yeah.
I can't remember my daughter. What's your name? But Christine Zadig, Clanavan Baldonado.
Right.
I mean, when you see these kids and this fella today that you'll be seeing.
Well, this
Chris
is, yeah.
Santiago.
Yeah.
I mean, I just found out about it, that he's going to be here. He was there last night. He just unbelievable, unbelievable talent,
Yeah.
and low key and humble and the real deal. He doesn't want to be another Sinatra. He don't want to act like Sinatra. He wants to be. Well, you see him and you.
Well, should we
see
bring him up?
But whatever you want.
Should we, ladies and gentlemen, Chris
Chris
Santiago,
Santiago.
the current Young Artist Award winner.
Oh my God! Come here.
Here, sweetheart.
This guy, I got to tell you, Chris. God bless you. God bless you. Now here's a guy I just wish Vic Damone had gotten to see. this fella right here.
I've got the world on a string, singing on a rainbow. Got that string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. I've got a song that I sing, and I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see I'm in love? Life's a wonderful thing, as long as I got that string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let it go. I've got the world on a string, I'm sitting on a rainbow. I got that string around my finger. What a world and what a life, I'm in love.
Yeah, babe.
Life's a wonderful thing, as long as I got that string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let it go. I've got the world on a string, I'm sitting on a rainbow. I got that string around my finger. What a world, and this is the life. Hey, now, I'm in love.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yes.
Oh, Chris Santiago.
Yeah. Chris Santiago.
Isn't he something? Last night, I had we had his mother and father, and also his grandma and granddad. And they didn't know I was going to do it, but I called them up to the microphone. And your grandfather is just, I mean, it just is so wonderful to see a guy like this who is coming from, you're like an old soul. You really are. I mean, when you do Stormy Weather, he does. I mean, how many records have you put out since you became? No, they're not records. I know. About 12.
I think 6.
Oh no, more than 6.
Nope, 6.
6. You're right. You're right. Of course, you're right. You have stardust on your shoulder, and with this very special.
Chris Santiago, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, baby.
Where were we?
Let's
Well,
talk radio.
Let's talk about this this crazy venture that you started 5 years ago right here in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
People said, all right, you're going to start a radio station. You're going to play the Great American Songbook 24/7. Are you crazy, my friend? They
I
said,
am.
what? Are you crazy?
I am, but you might as well, when you get, all my life I've really done what I thought I would like to do, and I think at this stage of life, I think we need more of that music. I really do. We field about, I don't know, hundreds of phone calls from all over the country, but mostly Palm Beach County for this one down here. And the people that are calling, the folks, the friends, they become friends because they are nervous, they're anxious, and what they do at night, they turn on CNN or MSNBC and Fox and everything else. Everybody's, and they don't know if their money's going to run out before and they're really talking about health issues and stuff that's important. And this music of the Great American Songbook, they say, and you say too probably, is really medicine. The music of the songbook. Do you agree? Do you agree? I mean, it really is therapeutic. you're transformed back, some of you, to a time that was perhaps more simple in your life. And you think about mom and dad or your grandmother or whatever, and they were playing and singing in the kitchen, or great memories. And some of the angst and some of the, what we're living through today is just, I don't know. And then you turn on the radio and go up and down the dial, even years ago, and you got a song like winning the Academy Award, Joe. You know what the name of my favorite record was, winning the Academy Award?
What's that?
It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
No.
Honest to God.
We're about
Maxine,
positivity.
that's true.
No. We're about positivity at Legends Radio.
Oh, I'm
right?
sorry.
We're all about
but I
the
mean,
good stuff.
But people would call and say, Dickie, we can't. That's true.
I know.
And maybe somebody digs that. But a lot of people, hundreds of them, would call each day and say, we really have to have something that we can identify with.
Yeah.
And 3-6 Mafia doing that, the song, was just typical. And the music also became toxic to us, about violence, about Helen feels a lot of the calls, and the calls that come in are all about. And then one more story. I went to a place in Revere, Massachusetts, and I told the story once, and there was a class of eighth graders, including a lot of girls. And we were talking about music, and at that time, a girl by the name of Rihanna was a pop star, but she got beaten up a little bit by her boyfriend. Brown was his name, or whatever. What was his first name? Whatever.
I stay in the positivity. I don't go there.
But no, wait a minute.
That's where I live.
Wait for just a minute. But so I said, well, what do you? I'm sorry if I strayed somewhere. I should. But I said to these kids, I said,
I think Chris Brown's attorney's calling right now.
Get him. Tell him to take a hike. But what do you? So I said, what do you think? For a minute, I said, well, what 8th grade kids, Revere, Massachusetts. I said, what do you think about what's happening with Rihanna? And you know what they said? She deserved it. I said, what? Now I'm an old geek, but she deserved it? Oh, yeah, because those guys that hang around with the chains and the hose and the other stuff we hear in the music, if they don't have the proper parenting, they're all over the lot. But if you convert them a little bit, you can't convert everybody. But the violence that's out there today, the demeaning of women and everything that's going on, we talk about opening a door like we used to do for women. Every once in a while you'll talk about that, and you'll hear someone say they opened the door for a woman. The woman said, hey, I don't need that. But it's just going back to the values that I think is shared when you look at a fella like Chris Santiago and the family that he came from. He's buttoned up and he's got it together. And those values are so important in life. In life,
Absolutely.
You can't go out and get a job and have, stuff coming out of your, rings and things and looking like you. You can't get a normal job.
Richie's getting thrown under the bus left and right. It's fine. He's used to it.
Not a problem.
No, but Dick,
should I show him my belly button ring?
Yeah, right. No, but Legends Radio, 5 years now on the air here in Palm Beach County and all over the world at legendsradio.com. Dick Robinson making sure this music stays relevant and alive. And one of those artists on Legends Radio, and also the newest advisory board member of the Society for the Preservation of the Great American Songbook, and Broadway star Avery Summers is here tonight.
Bravo.
And if she would be so kind as to sing.
That's terrific. You gotta stay down there. Avery Summers,
Avery
incidentally.
Summers.
Avery Summers,
Love you.
the late Burt Reynolds, who was our friend, who was a Palm Beach boy all his life. Burt used to always call me, "Hey, Dickie, when's Avery gonna be playing? Where's she gonna be?" Am I right?
That's right.
He loved it like everybody does. I'm sorry, go ahead, Avery.
Bless you.
Special lady.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody.
Woo!
Well, it's very true. When I would sing in the Royal Room, and Rob, you can attest to this,
Where is he?
he would come all the time, and he was treated like a rock star because Rob always made sure that he was well taken care of. So this song comes from a Broadway show called Ain't Misbehavin'. I had the great pleasure to do that show on Broadway. And so this is the titled song. No one to walk with, all by myself. No one to talk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Hey, Daddy. I know for certain the one I love, all through with flirting, it's you that I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere. What do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. You better believe me. I don't stay out late. Don't care to go. I'm home about it, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving. I'm saving my love for you. Now listen to Richie.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
Go, baby. Go, baby.
Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere. What do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. You better believe me. I don't stay out late. Don't care to go. I'm home, I'm out, ain't just me and my radio. I ain't got no money. Ain't misbehaving. I'm saving my love for you. Ain't misbehaving. I'm saving my love for you.
Bravo. Bravo. Bravo.
Yeah!
Avery, let me
Yeah!
have that. Avery, am my thing on?
Miss Avery Summers.
Miss Avery Summers. You know, that recording, I just thought about it. Avery, you know, that goes back to 1929. 1929, Fats Waller. Anybody remember your mother, Fats Waller? And then there was a club in New York, I think it was called Hot Chocolates or something. And it became, the guy who was the musical director became Louis Pops Armstrong. And they did that, same song. I mean, Ella Fitzgerald, the First Lady of Song, she's done it. Sarah Vaughan has done it one after the other, has done that song. And now Avery Summers. And I mean, that was special.
As heard on Legends 100.3.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
God
right.
bless you. And Bert Reynolds, who loved. And he'd call me all the time and say, where's she playing? And then every once in a while, I'd get with him. And we drove down to see you in Hairspray. And I got lost down in, where was that? In Miami. Coral Gables. I can't find my way out of Palm Beach County. But you were just wonderful. And this is the music that we can identify with, and with some of the classics that will go on, I think, from here to eternity. Frank used to say, and Victor Malone and Tony Bennett and Jack Jones. Don't laugh, Michelle. Jack Jones would be on the phone saying to me, I bet it'll go on for another 500 or 1,000 years from today. But who's going to keep it on? If no one, don't forget what happened. Let me get one more thing in. Can I, please?
Oh, please.
What happened to radio, when I get into it, you could own 1 AM and 1 FM per city. And then we got this crazy thing with the FCC that allowed the Communications Act of 34 to get out of the toilet or tubes or whatever it was. And then guys could come along like Clear Channel or iHeart and own thousands of stations. And they were $22 billion in debt a year or so ago. And that kind of changed the whole tone of radio. Some were playing 9 commercials in a row. 9 in a row on some of these stations. They're even doing it now more on television. And you can't do that. And along came satellite radio, and there was a need at that time for satellite radio. But the one thing is that General Motors, some of those companies that you get into a new car today, and some of them are beautiful, great cars, man. But some people can't, they don't need that. 14 screens come out and all this other, stuff happens. That's all wonderful. But if you're not connected to a tower, and God forbid something happened in Palm Beach County, and any radio, not just us, but any radio station that's on the air, AM or FM, that's connected to a tower, knows what's happening. If you're on a satellite feed and you're getting it from the moon, or wherever you're getting it from, and God forbid something happens at the corner of Front and Grunt down in Delray Beach, you're not going to know about it. If there's a hurricane or whatever,
That's right.
They're not going to break in and say, hey, there's a hurricane down there in Delray. They're all over the world. And so these are the things that an old-fashioned, because I am old and occasionally fashioned.
You got great fashion.
But that's what it's all about. What radio was really all about to me. And I still love it. And it's still listened to, not just our station. I'm talking about radio in general is listened to by over 97% of the people, the folks today. Again, not just our station, but radio, beating newspapers, beating television, beating everything. Because it's free. It's free. It's there if you're on a 160-foot yacht or if you're in the backyard of some dump. You're still getting the Great American Songbook.
He's been to our house.
What's that? I fixed your house up a little bit that one time.
No, yes.
I come and bought you a table.
Yes.
Turntable.
Now, Dick,
What?
the legend. There are some questions for you, my dear, from the audience, and we got to open it up for just a minute. If anybody has a question, please, Gary Schweikert, wonderful Gary Schweikert's got the
Gary.
microphone.
He's got the microphone. And there's a question.
Rob Russell has a question.
Rob?
Hi, Rob Russell.
Oh, my God.
God.
We'll find him.
He's with us now, and he's got a brand new album out. Rob Russell. God bless you. We're going to open up. We're going to open up next year. More places to hear the Great American Songbook. Right, Rob?
That's right.
I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
Go ahead.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right. First of all, it's so good to be here in Palm Beach, to see all of you, and to Jill and Rich, who worked with me for all the years.
Many
And all
years.
the parties,
Yeah.
and all the great music, and working with people like Michelle Lee. I mean, just fabulous. I mean, we were so blessed. And to have Dick support us and through all the years, I mean, but my question to you, Dick Robinson, is what was the first record you ever played on the radio?
Well, that was Connie Francis with Who's Sorry Now.
Connie Francis.
No, she's not. She wasn't going to be. Is she here?
No,
Oh, Connie. Oh,
There she
Screen,
is
yeah.
up
she
there.
wasn't. I heard somebody say, we go to her birthday. Where is she?
Back behind.
Right
Oh,
there.
my God. No, but she was going to come up. And she is not feeling well. But she's been through a tough life, too. But a great singer. No one does a better mama than Connie Francis. And she had that beef with her father, which is a terrible, terrible thing. He's not just a controlling Italian. He is, the story that's up on the website. And she has been a delight in my life since 1958. But Connie had a real tough time with her dad, and she tells about it. And one of them was her love affair at an early age with Bobby Darin. And her dad came to the Jackie Gleason show down here where Bobby was rehearsing, took out a gun and fired a shot over his head, and Bobby never came back.
Smart
Sure.
guy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, one question right here.
Oh, my God.
Dick Robinson,
Dick.
one of your top fans, Marie Bloom Deckert.
I know. When you think of Marie Bloom, you always thought of Baskin Palmer.
That's right.
That was an ice cream company before I let them know it was the #1 eye.
And first of all, I want
What?
to thank you and represent all of the disc jockeys because radio, when I was growing up, the baby boomers, and whenever things were bad at home or difficult, I got that little Japanese radio, and I would listen. It didn't matter where I lived or whatever, I was connected. And in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, listening to the radio, and that transported me, and that was an escape. But my first, talking about Baskin Palmer, when I started there in January of 2000, my first recorded message came from Dick Robinson. He had called, probably trying to help to get a friend an eye appointment, but he talked so long, he ran out of the tape.
Tell one more thing. One more.
So but the next, then the immediate next phone call was, this is Dick Robinson, side 2.
Oh, wait. I was a charity addict at one time. I was chairing the Baskin Palmer Ball. Who did I bring in?
Oh, yes, Achy
By
Breaky
surprise?
Heart, yes.
Who?
Yes.
Who?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
As a surprise, Alex Donner in the orchestra and Billy Ray Cyrus came on, and I thought Dr. Carmen Pugliafito, who was my friend, of course, the great O'Brien, is up there, and just it was a hell of a night at the Breakers Hotel with Billy Ray Cyrus. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much for
Good to
that
see you.
wonderful memories.
Oh, wow, it was. Thank you.
Now, I have the great honor of asking the final question after every conversation. But before I do, let me make a couple of very quick announcements. First, thank you all for coming to Culture and Cocktails this season. This has been a fantastic season. We sold out every single Culture and Cocktails so far this year. And we get together next Thursday of next week to start planning for the next season. And boy, do we have some good ideas in mind. Now, for the final question, can we hear one more number?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We would like to bring back the one, the only, Miss Avery Summers, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you, Dick Robinson, for being such a champion.
Thank you.
And for playing my music on Legends Radio, and to Rich and Jill for my first CD and the music on that CD.
Very good.
It's just really wonderful. And we just recorded this song a few months ago for special occasions. And this Lee Greenwood made this song very popular. And when I first heard it, I knew that it was a song that I wanted to sing.
Here you go.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again as just a mother and a wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the women who died, who gave that right to me.
And I glad.
At least stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, from the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Bravo, Avery. God bless.
Every Summers, ladies and gentlemen. Dick.
Say goodnight.
Dick Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Dick Robinson.
Thank you. And most of all, lots of good health, and be in touch with us. And just God bless you all.